In this video, we're going to share everything that we think you should know about a classic tailored jacket.
And a couple of things that are probably not as useful. The shoulders are the most important part of a tailored jacket. They give it the whole character, they create the overall aesthetic, how the silhouette is, how the lapels fit, so shoulders are really important. A classic jacket such as this has a moderately padded shoulder. So there is some padding in there, it's clean, but it also follows a natural line of the shoulder. This is finished off with an ever so lightly roll at the end. You often see in other tailored garments, you might see roping where it's raised, quite heavy, or no roping at all, and it's very, very natural and it falls down like a shirt. But this very moderate line gives you a nice definition to the end of the shoulder. It's clean, it doesn't draw your attention to it too much.
And working down from the shoulder, we get to the collar, and there are several different types of collars that you find on classic jackets. This jacket has, I would say, the most classic collar type, which is going to be a notched lapel. And then of course there are peak lapels like what Chris is actually wearing, which is also quite standard. And then you have a shawl collar lapel, which is more for the sartorially inclined, I think, more reserved for evening wear generally.
I would say it's an evening style.
Yeah.
I've worn it outside of the evening, but I would call it an evening style.
Yeah, it's something very particular, but most classic jackets will have a notched lapel. It's going to suit just about every occasion of use. On this particular jacket, the notch is well positioned on the chest, so it's not too high, it's not too low. It really sort of serves to frame the face of the wearer quite well. What's important with the lapel is that it is proportional to the frame of the person actually wearing the jacket. So you want generally a moderate lapel that will be flattering for most people. Of course, you can go wider for a more dramatic effect. It's been in fashion to go skinnier.
For far too long.
For far too long. And but the lapel sort of gets back to the person that is wearing the jacket. You want something that is going to frame them well, that looks natural on them.
And of course, a defining feature of a lapel, as far as fit goes, is where the lapel finishes. Now this garment here finishes with the waist button just above the natural waist of the wearer, so you're creating a slightly higher waist combined with the shape of the chest. It's quite a flattering, classic look. It's flattering in the sense that if you have a little bit of a belly, it tends to sort of skirt around that quite literally. Following on from that, the chest of a garment, I would say after the shoulder, as far as fit goes, is the chest. Now we often in tailoring look at the waist of a jacket, but the waist is really defined by how the chest is. So if you see those jackets, those lovely shaping, that lovely waisting, it's often because the chest's been made slightly bigger. So what you want to do is make the chest slightly rounded, because we're not flat, we're not two-dimensional people, we're three-dimensional people, despite your acting. What we have to do is, in the canvassing underneath, is build darts into it. These darts create shape, so they fit nicely, so the jacket fits clean onto the chest, but also it means you can then build it in and build that lovely shape into the waist.
And working down from the buttoning stance, we actually get to the vents of a jacket. Most jackets these days will have two vents on either side. Some jackets will have a single vent, which you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that sort of harkens back to when tailoring was worn for sport.
It was
essentially
very
when you're
popular.
sitting,
Right.
when you're sitting on a horse.
Background there. So,
Yep.
and still to this day, if you're making a hacking jacket, it would be center vented.
Single vent. And then of course there are ventless jackets, which really harken back kind of even further, something more formal. You see it a lot in evening wear. It just creates a very clean line basically all down the jacket. But more contemporary these days, more classic for these times, I would say would be a double vent. It really suits any occasion. I mean, I even see it in evening wear, although more proper would be ventless in evening wear. Double vent is more commercial, but all that to say, a double vent jacket will be right for basically every setting.
Also, it's important the length of them. This is not overly high or overly skinny. Fashion suits will play around with lengths of vents, like lapels, to create fashion silhouettes. But the waist of the jacket, you get the pockets. Now, pockets on men's clothes are practical; they can be used. Various styles. The two most popular ones would be patch, like we have here, which with the cloth on the outside, slightly sportier, but very, very correct for a modern sports jacket. The other side you see more probably suited with suits would be a flap on the pocket, and then you often see flapless pockets, which you'll probably see on an evening suit, which is considered the most formal of the three main styles.
And just a little trick, what I like to do is actually tuck my flap into the pocket.
Oh, you devil, you.
I know, it's crazy. But anyways, moving on from the intricacies of pockets to the actual jacket length. So this is really critical for the overall aesthetic of the jacket. There are several different rules of thumb that you can go by to achieve the right
Some of them
jacket.
are quite literally of the thumb.
Literally, quite literally of the thumb, but what most guys know is if you actually just sort of cup your hand, the jacket should finish in the crease where your fingers sort of fold over. Something else to pay attention though to in terms of jacket length is the length in the back. You want your seat to be covered by the jacket. Of course, length it can sort of vary depending on formalities. The longer the length, I would say the more formal, but the important thing is just remember to cover your seat with the length of your jacket.
But the other thing which is as important as jacket length is sleeve length. Now sleeve length is one of the easiest alterations to do to a jacket, yet I see it done wrong so many times, and it can make such a huge difference with just a small alteration. The sleeve, again a classic jacket, has got a natural taper, so it should just frame your cuff beautifully. You shouldn't have excess fabric. If it does happen that you have very slim wrists and small shirts, you can get a tailor to do a slight taper here, but what you should always do is make him shorten it so you're showing some cuff. Showing sleeve cuff with a shirt with a suit just improves the overall appearance no end. It makes the whole garment look more finished.
All right, so then moving to the inside of the jacket where we have the lining, which for most guys is really an aesthetic choice. It's a place where you can let your personality, your character really shine through. You could go fancy, you could go fun, bold, colorful. And what's nice about that is it's like a little Easter egg. It's just for yourself. Only you know it's there because most people won't actually see the lining of your jacket.
No, of course not. But lining also has a very practical use as well. It really affects how the jacket hangs. So if you've got a beautifully fitting jacket, the back lining will actually help the back of the jacket hang better.
Okay.
It feels actually more comfortable, particularly when you're walking in a jacket. The way it moves with you will be dictated again by how beautifully lined it is. Congratulations, you've made it to the end of this video. We didn't think you would, but well done for sticking with us. However, if you think we've left anything out, we'd like to remove something more, Austin is dying to share this information, so make sure you put a question in the comments below.